Hello. Welcome to the channel. If you happen to be new, definitely feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna ask you that earlier because a lot of people tend to like to bolt before they reach the end. Now this will be a long discussion, but to really make a godlike Breath of the Wild 2 sequel, we gotta hit the major bits. We gotta get all the bits. So with that said, you grab your popcorn, you grab your rigatoni, grab your soap. You're definitely gonna need your soap. Jesus Christ, holy shit. And hey, if you feel like you need to, go ahead and crank up that video speed. I want more people to be able to hear all of these concepts because you never know if anyone will actually get this to a developer and they actually put at least one of these concepts into the final product. That would be the bee's knees. And with that said, let's begin. Breath of the Wild, you know it, you love it. It's past 3 years old right now. My little baby's definitely growing up. I have some things that I really want to see in Breath of the Wild 2, and we're going to talk about that. So first thing, let's start with the basics. The organization for the menu, like the title, like the whole like navigating through your items and your inventory. That it's organized to a certain degree, but overall it's really unorganized. You can sort it, but there needs to be like a menu that has it to where you can pick items from a sub menu. For much quicker location of items, like have like a couple of bars on the side to where you can pick items, you can pick armor, like the armor, and then click on that and then go directly to armor sets, weapons, and then you can go directly to that. And just, I think it's a very simple, boring thing to add in, but I think that's something that needs to be cleared out of the way first and foremost. I don't mind the system in Breath of the Wild, but it really should have been made better, but that's just me. Now let's talk about the juicy stuff. Let's talk about immersion, because you need to have a world that is believable. Now Breath of the Wild already did an amazing job with the world that it has, but we can do so much more. And I know a lot of stuff has been left out because that's how it usually goes with game development, is you'll come up with some amazing concepts and unfortunately you just got to leave them on the cutting floor. Wildlife. We need more variety of wildlife out there. They had a decent amount. You had like your lizards. You had like, did you have mice? I can't remember if you did or didn't. You had boars. You had deer. You had deer with antler, or I forgot what they're called. Are they called deers with antler? Whatever. You had deers with antler because I can't remember what the male name for it is if there is one. And you even had bears very sparingly. God, did you have anything else? Oh, you had moose. Is moose plural? I don't know. Anyways, all right, I'm getting off traffic. Did I say traffic? God damn. Why can't I speak? Anyways, yeah, you had some wildlife there, but I feel like it's just not enough there. Like, I really want more diverse wildlife. I want tigers, or at least tiger-like beings and creatures in the jungle parts, like in the Faron region. I really want more visceral animals in visceral places, if that makes sense. Adding in bears was definitely going in the right direction. Like I want animals like that, like this more diverse, lush kind of wildlife thing. You know, previous Zeldas or whatever it was you and then there was enemies. They had animals here and there, like the owl from the Nintendo 64 or whatever. They had some, and then they had horses too, of course. But I really feel like, you know, Breath of the Wild, if it's wild, then it should have more animals, wild animals. Like, wildlife animals should also be fighting you. You just happen to, not every single time, but have them act more like animals. Sometimes they're fighting each other, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're fleeing from other animals or monsters or people. That would really oh my God, that would bring the game to life. But that's what I would do. Or a family, and like I said, the AI doesn't have to be top notch, but this is just for starters. Wildlife fighting each other, fleeing from other creatures or whatever. Even have like little families of animals from time to time, or not only that, take it a step further. Underwater animals aside from the fish. Let's be honest, other than the fish and those little octorok thingies or whatever, it's got to be more diverse wildlife in the water. Let's get some bigger fish. Let's get some octopus or octopi. I definitely know how you say that in there. But yeah, and not only that, diverse animals, but let's get an even more diverse weather system. Taking weather patterns from real life as they would happen and incorporating them into the game. because I know rain's annoying, but hear me out. I know that's not even going in a good place. Rain is annoying, but hear me out. But let's do this. I mean, we would amend the rain thing. First and foremost, let's kill the rain thing, or let's game in the rain thing right now. I wouldn't make climbing in rain annoying by any stretch of the imagination. Rain would not affect you that much. And if it did, I will make it to where you can get climbing gear, or at least enhanced gear, which, you know, that brings me to another thing that we'll talk about down the line is enhancement. We'll make that to where you can incorporate that into the gear that you choose. So climbing in rain wouldn't even be an issue, but add more diverse weather patterns. You can't say that Hyrule's weather is just going to be kind of mild as far as what its extremes could be. Let's add tsunamis. Let's add hurricanes. How awesome would that be? It would be crazy to be out at sea and a freak hurricane starts showing up. And it doesn't even have to be full-on hurricanes. It could just be like, as far as the programming behind it, you can do variables that kind of like a randomizer that kind of randomizes up. If these set of things happen, like as far as in the randomizer for the game, then it takes you to like a tropical depression, which is like the step up, you know, before you get like a hurricane. And then if these random variables are hit as Link or whatever character is out there, then you get the next step. You get that weak hurricane or whatever, and then the next step and the next step, and very rarely you get like a full-on powered up hurricane. And then of course after a while you can have it to where it can step down or whatever. And then of course, as it says, okay, so this hurricane is over land, let's decrease it. Let's decrease its intensity as it petals out over land. And as it does that too, it does like real life, to where chances are, if the conditions are right for it for the randomizer, that it ends up spawning small tornadoes or water spouts. And not only that too, add like very small, tiny earthquakes or whatever. Just small things. Now, granted, it could be like, well, what's happening in the game if you do that? But almost, I mean, I don't know how cold it's. Well, it does give you the temperature thing, but because of the temperature thing's kind of in the middle, I would say that's the right time that makes the conditions for a tornado. So adding that in would make the world seem so much more alive. And considering the fact that water spouts have been done in Wind Waker, you've got that crappy Wind Blight Ganon, tornadoes have been done. It's been done in the game. Like it's been programmed in there. And the fact that isn't like a weather condition for me kind of takes the immersion out. But I'm also kind of a weather geek, and a climate geek, so maybe that's why I'm the only one that's bothered by that. But I haven't seen anybody else mention that, so I just wanted to throw that in there too. But yeah, the goal, along with all the other things to mention, is to push immersion. Like immersion, I have to say it twice because I think I said it wrong. And it's just like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's just like a Miyazaki film. One thing that I love about Miyazaki films is the fact that they're so immersive because they have so many things happening in the background that makes the world seem believable and come to life. Like literally, it makes the world like it's breathing. And when you have breath of the wild, breath is in the title, we need some brevity in there. Link should also be able to interact with the world more. I mean, I'm talking like fishing, petting animals, giving food to animals, earning like dogs' trust. And I mean, he does do that with the pets or whatever, but I really want to take it a step further. And I'm going a little bit out there. I mean, maybe like chopping wood to help build people's homes, or hunting or something. He can hunt too. There are like little missions that let you hunt, you know, for people. But I want to take it. I really want to take it a step further. And as far as the NPCs, I want NPCs. I want like the NPCs to be more diverse as far as like the adventures and the creatures, and I want NPCs to be able to actually go along with you on missions, similar to how you can in Skyrim. I want more badass fighting waifus to come with you. That's always a plus. Give me some serious deep backstories, or at the bare minimum, make some NPCs that appear to have value rather than just taking up space in towns and in the background. I want to feel feels from these people. I really do. And I want them, and it's terrible to say this, but I want them hurt. I want to hurt for them. Like if they lose someone, or if they're struggling, or have like genuine fear, I need them to really emotionally compromise me. Like I need that. And then of course the other thing, the standard thing that everybody and their grandma mentions is, We need a playable Zelda. Good Lord, Nintendo. Like, even in the trailer, I thought, like, are we going to be able to play Zelda? It was like, nah, dog, nah. And Zelda was the most defined in Breath of the Wild. She slowly comes into her own over time. And to be honest, I think, to be honest, thick thighs save lives, but definitely got like a tear coming from me when I heard her cry, or at least in the Japanese version. The Japanese version, hearing her shriek and cry, like, I ain't gonna lie, that hurt my soul. That hurt my soul. The American was kind of like, you don't seem like you hurt that bad. You'll be fine. Just rub some dirt in it. But I'd love to see a mixture, like if you did have a playable Zelda, and the fact that, you know, sister girl, she cut her hair short, she's kind of doing her own thing, making her way downtown, walking fast, walking free. She got like a little Charlie's Angels thing kind of going, minus the terrible story, like the new Charlie's Angels. That's a little reference right there. Kind of dating this video by doing that, but whatever. Shut up. Anyways, like I'd love for her to have like I'd love for her to have like a mixture of science and magic. That would actually be pretty sick, because on the one hand she likes to be scientific, on the other hand she's got those magical, you know, that whole praying and all that those obligations, and you could actually choose what she learns. She can lean, like for instance, she can lean into magic, or she can lean into science, or you could even teach her both, and it wouldn't be as strong as either would be separately, but you would have that diversity in her skill set, and your choices would also change how she views the world. Like if she chooses just full-on magic, I guess, quote unquote, embracing her destiny, then she'll have a very different viewpoint as if she chose science, which is based in logic and based in fact. And you know, nothing against religion, to each its own, but I think it'd be really cool to have like a little dichotomy like that. I think it'd be pretty neat. Like, which should I choose? Should I choose A or B? And then of course that way, it further diversifies like your general playthrough. So not every playthrough is going to be exactly the same, because if she chooses logic over this, then maybe she'll choose a logic-based answer to fix a particular problem, which set you know, some different circumstances in motion. I think that'd be pretty neat. Another thing that I would like to add on to this would be, or at least to throw in there, is I'd like a relationship and a bond situation being formed with the people that you come in contact with, and the people that you choose to go with you as you travel around. And I would say, let me think, you know what, I guess you could use Chrono Cross as an example. It's not like a completely deep and intricate one as far as like the relationships between you and the comrades that you end up coming across, because you can come across like, I think it's like over 30 something characters that you can run into in Chrono Cross that you can like get into your party. But at least I'd like for it to affect the story in some degree. It may not affect the overall story, but I would love, I'm just a big fan of what ifs. I absolutely love what ifs, and I would love for this to be put in there as well. If you played like the last Breath of the Wild, you know Mipha had a thing for Link, and then you know Zelda ended up having a thing for Link. There's been females in the past that have had a thing for Link, like that one Gerudo chick from Ocarina of Time. She was like, you know, if I had known you'd been so handsome if you got earlier, then probably would have. I think she kept a promise or something. But, you know, it's been a long time since I played that game. But that would be pretty neat. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be Link. I know Link is a projector, you know, you project your personality onto him. He's a blank slate, so more waifu is more fun, but it doesn't even have to necessarily be Link. It could be other characters. I want to see actual relationships formed, because Breath of the Wild was great, and it felt like there was like a little bit of one, but it was just it's too light. I want them to really dive in, but not only that, just so everybody can have their cake and eat it too. I want it to be optional. You don't have to dive in if you don't want to. Say for instance, they go with you choose this or this option, rather than just like one or two options. And that, depending on what you say, it kind of like Mass Effect. Yeah, that's perfect. Kind of like Mass Effect, to where you choose particular options, it grows you closer or pushes you further away from other characters. That's a perfect one. Now, not Mass Effect 3. We're gonna stop at 2 at best. At best. But I think that would be really cool to incorporate. And as far as like what they would do, let's have like a mission board or something. And what you could do there is you could have like a revolving or a constant mission system to collect special items and really push the player, and also keep scaling the difficulty no matter what, unless they have like the best of the best of the best gear. Make it still tough for them to accomplish, because, you know, if it's too easy, it just gets boring. Make it to where other adventurers offer you jobs, you join them on their missions or something like that, which would be really awesome. Like Link going with somebody else on their mission. I mean, he's done it before in a sense, but I mean just mission boards in general. Chances are, however they make the system for Breath of the Wild 2 or the sequel, you can probably just farm that from somewhere else. I don't want petty stuff like that. I want actual good stuff, like rare weapons or whatever that can be crafted into something else. That would be awesome. Like I would love to have like a sort of Monster Hunter style thing. You can go with them, they can go with you. You go adventures over land, even in the air and in the sea, out in the water, underwater, and rivers, underground, stuff like that. Just really just make it to where you can just explore. I'd also love a bigger map. That's definitely possible, by the way. So go ahead and hit us with that bigger map. I know you can do it. You're familiar with the Switch now. You're 3 years in. You can expand that cartridge size, get you a bigger cartridge size. Oh yeah, expand Hyrule, no question. Make it much bigger. You don't have to be ungodly bigger, but make it much, 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 much bigger. I know you can do it. So that's another thing in there to throw on top of the pile. Next thing I would do, God, man, that mission system would actually be so awesome. Good Lord. Like, I'd love for them to be able to go into sprawling forests too. Not like the little small forests that you see in Breath of the Wild as it is now, but some really sprawled out forests. Some of these missions could be making new settlements, or restoring old ones, or helping people settle, or, man, there's so much that you can do. It's gonna make me ejaculate. Like I just hit puberty. It's so much that you can do. Now, I've been talking about this crafting system and synthesis for a while. Let me tell you ladies and gents about this. So I would love for the crafting system to allow you to make crucial items and say like different artifacts and things of that nature. You can make rare items, common items, maybe have like a thing there that lets you know how common an item is, whether it be common, uncommon, and rare, kind of like the Pokemon system, or at least the way the Pokemon system used to be. I think that was that it, or was that the card game? I don't know, it was one of those, but whatever. But I'm thinking of Chrono Cross again. Like games like did it to where you could collect special items to make you mythical weapons, like the I guess you could say master. You can make them like a master sword equivalent of different weapons. That would be very awesome. So it feels like they wanted to make a crafting system for the previous one, but for whatever reason, I guess they just time constraints. They just didn't have time to actually squeeze that in there. Which brings me to the next thing, even though it's related, that would be enemies. God, everybody and their grandma knows we need more enemy variety. Smarter AI, that would definitely be a plus through. I'm thinking like a Dark Souls 3 kind of thing at most. And of course you gotta have the freakish AI too, like the freakish concept art for Breath of the Wild that they came up for it, but of course it was left out. I mean, even if you need to delve into some old favorites like some Redeads or some Gibdos or some likes, some fun enemies like the Iron Knuckles, like your general mini bosses, those would be really, really awesome. Like bullying pigmen can only go so far. Now don't get me wrong, bullying them is really fun. It's really fun. I made a video about that. Feel free to check it out if you like that kind of thing. But I need more variety. Everybody needs more variety. I get it. Again, you only had so much you can work with, time and getting used to the Switch, but now is a different ball game. Now you're completely familiar with it. So let's make that happen. I want enemies to fight each other too, of course, because and people fight other enemies in there. Like these certain programmed NPCs fight other enemies, and you know the other NPCs usually just run away from them. But monsters don't have a written agreement to say, you know, fuck everything else and just attack Link. They're monsters. Let monsters do what monsters do. Go monster. Attack villages. Have villagers or guard captains, whatever, fight back. Again, Skyrim did this long ago. There's really no reason that the monsters can't actually just go and attack villages. Like this should be easy. Acquire that immersion, man. It can be done. I hate it that you would lead monsters to the villages and you really have to work to get them into the village or whatever settlement, you know, because we got to be dicks. But they should do this on their own. Like just wander near a village and have guards or whatever ready to fight them. It's easy. and that would make it more immersive. It's pathetic to where you have these big bads and you get them near a village and they just like, nah man, nah, I'm good, I'm going back, I don't want none of this. Like they're scared of the kids playing out front or something. Like that kind of blows my mind. It really takes the immersion out for me. So that needs to be on there, no question. And then just like with 4 Ganon blights, man, Aonuma, really? Like that's not a good look, my guy. The main baddie like sucked squirrel nuts, and Ganon, like this was boring. As much as I love Breath of the Wild, this ultimate boss battle it was so boring. It's so lackluster. Like this is what this led up to. You had that sick trailer, and this is what we did. But I mean, I could be too hard on it, I don't know, but man, you gotta do better than this. You made them big and dumb and just lumbering. Like I get the premise on why, but there was no real tension fighting him. It's just I sleep to summarize all of that. Maybe scale the next big baddie. Make it a challenge, like regardless. And on the scaled up baddies part, have like a wide variety of mid bosses. Like I said, bring the Iron Knuckle back. Bring back old favorites, man. Sure up those numbers. Like that would really enhance the story, like, or at least enhance the gameplay aspect of it. And I would not only that, I need a villain that's psychological. A big dumb monster is just a big dumb monster. Who cares? Like as far as a game, when you're completely detached from it and you don't have to worry about that big dumb monster coming out at you, and there's no like freakish environment to kind of set the mood to scare you, then it's just a big dumb monster. You got all these powers and stuff, who cares? But if you make that monster psychological, if you make him manipulative, if you make him an actual monster, like from a mental standpoint as well as a physical, all right, we got something here. Let's do it. Let's do that next time around. It doesn't even have to necessarily be Ganon, because Ganon probably needs to be retired as a villain along with some other villains, but that's a video for another day. But going psychological with it would be fantastic. But speaking of, let's talk about the combat too. Combat, let's get some more moves for him. Like Link is supposed to be this master swordsman, right? Why does he have like the same couple of moves? Like that's a master swordsman. I mean, granted, you could be like, oh, you want to be good at something, keep it simple. But no, man, we need some flashy moves. It was just like the moves were fine. They were just fine, but there was nothing there. There was no kind of move growth or anything. You couldn't add any kind of specialty to him, and that's a real shame, both from a customization perspective and just the general fact that it just made it vanilla. It just made it kind of boring. You just swing, backswing, slash, twist, like a little fancy little spin slash, and then of course you got the whole charge up spin slash. You got the other charge up abilities with the he could do so much more. Like he's supposed to be a master at weapons. I don't normally see masters at anything just do like the same exact things when he fights every single creature. Like it's so much more. I mean, yeah, you got like the little jump slash and back, like just pretty much all the moves from Ocarina of Time. There's just nothing there. Even in Wind Waker, he can and Twilight Princess, he can learn new moves. But this time around, it's just bland. It just sucked, really. Just as much as I love the game, just to be real, it sucked nuts. So taking it a step further, how about we have some dynamic weapons, so a more dynamic variety, like the sword, spear, boomerang. That stuff is fine. Giant weapons or whatever, giant clubs, that's fine, but let's switch it up. You had Sheikah, so you could have tiger hooks, because Sheikah, I imagine they did agricultural stuff, so you have tiger hooks or nunchucks or something like that, and then you could add an issue with them to where it makes you decide what weapon do you like the most. Do you like nunchucks? They strike a lot faster, but they can also recoil like regular nunchucks actually do. But deal quick damage, for instance, or you use like a giant clave more like you use in Breath of the Wild, or a 3-section chain staff. Just if you're gonna have it kind of feudal, like just a bit of like a ninja aspect with the whole Sheikah tribe and the Yiga clan, then lean into that. Let's get creative with the weapons. Let's make the weapon system more fun than this. Like it's too basic as it stands now. They could do so much more. Spears and bows, for instance, could have like longer reach but aren't as versatile as a sword. And again, you could have like master sword versions of all these different weapons that I just mentioned. Like I said, like a master sword version of a tiger hook, or nunchucks, or what, or tonfas. Like, God, man, that would be so. You can't tell me that wouldn't be fun. Like seeing Link use all these other different weapons, because again, he's supposed to be a master, like a master ability to use weapons, and this is a boring master right here. So that needs to be fixed. So I really want that. And then of course too, you can craft them, like I said, so you can have that Minecraft aesthetic to it. But I think I've spent enough time on the weapons. I think you get where I'm going with that. Man, that would be awesome. But that's how you get a really good Zelda. And we're not even done yet. So if you managed to make it this far, shout outs to you. We like 27 minutes in. So locations, I want to see some big cities this time. I want to see more lively locations. I want more diverse locations, and not just being this whole just a post-apocalyptic kind of thing. I need some hustle and bustle by this time. Depending on whether they go back in time or forwards in time, I'm going to assume that it's going to be at a point where it's not the whole apocalyptic thing. Like, people would have moved on from the whole calamity thing, or it would be beforehand and they would be hustle and bustle at that point. So we need some lively cities. I want to see more towns being built if it's afterwards, like at different stages of construction or something like that. Like Hyrule Castle could be under construction, or if it's beforehand, it's as it stood before the whole calamity or whatever. Like, I have no idea if they're going to do time travel or not, but yeah, if they don't do time travel and it's a direct sequel or however this is going to work, then it needs to be hustle and bustle in some way. They don't all need to be like, every village doesn't need to be a quaint little chill village. I want some quaint chill villages, like that way you can take a break from busy places, but it needs to mix, because that's how society generally works. You have these epicenters of commerce and trade and all that stuff, and it needs to reflect in the game. See, all this stuff builds up. All this stuff adds to that immersion. Like more wildlife, more diverse enemies, Link doing more things. Like, I'm building this world up to where it acts like an actual person going through a journey, rather than just, I'm just here and here's other things, and I interacting with those other things, and I just whatever. But if you're able to learn different things, learn specific things, mold the character in the story the way that you want to, then you've got something there. You've already got something here too, granted, but you've really got something there at this point. You make it your own. That's why people have bought Skyrim for like the 6th and the 7th time or whatever, because you can do so much with the story. You can go on all these intricate different adventures that here we are, like, years later, people still buying different versions of Skyrim, whether it be on PC, PS4, Xbox, the Switch. Just, it's here again, you know what I mean? On mobile's not the best, but hey, you can just, again, actually it's kind of sucky, kind of garbage actually, but mobile is mobile, take from that what you will. But just in general, the point is, that's why it's persisted so long, because you can do so much with it. And speaking of doing so much, I love that the story is going dark this time. I would love for it to be more poetic. I would love for it to be open-ended and also have like spidering storylines that could happen with that. And what do I mean by spidering storylines? I mean multiple endings. I mean, if you pursue this particular person, you can see how deep this rabbit hole goes with this person that may know this person that may know this person. Just like real life. Like, you would never realize it, but this Ruto knows this Gerudo that knows this oh my god, I forgot the rock people that live in the Goron. I don't know why I was struggling to remember that. Too many guys. But I may know this person, and this person had a relationship with this person, and you come to find out this person is the secret adopted mother of this. Like, just if you so choose to, like a bunch of different spidering stories, if you so choose to, you can dig deep into other intricate stories and find out a lot. You could kind of do a little version of that on the last on Breath of the Wild, but you have to admit, most of it was surface level. But on this, what I'm proposing, like, it goes deep. Like, you'll find out this person is connected to this person and this character's connected to this person, and even more surprising, this person's connected to this story, or this person used to be a guardian for, you know, this royal family, and because that happened, then this person lost their child or something like that, and then they were living in the forest and they actually weren't dead. Like, just, it's so much stuff that you could do that I really, again, not all of it has to be extra deep, but I want it to spider out. Like, I really do. I want some roots to grow much longer and deeper than others, and then it all just varies, and it's up to you if you want to do that, or if you want to ignore it completely and just play the main story. Hey, go ahead and do it. But this would, like, just, and of course it would be worth your time too, so you can get all these special items, abilities, special clothing unique to it. You could do so much. My God, you could do so much. Like, you're in the action part of the story of Breath of the Wild where you're in endgame, and I want Infinity War. Just as an example, I want Infinity War. I want more than endgame. Like, because one thing I really hated about Breath of the Wild, the original, is all the cool crap happened long ago. Nobody wants to hear how awesome a party was. Like, shit, I guess I missed it. They want to be there for that party. They want to see Greg smash through a window. They want to see Lisa jump through jump off, like, from the roof onto, like, a bouncy castle and then bounce into a pool. They want to see somebody running around with a clown mask, just like shooting people in the face with tequila shots with a super soaker. And if you don't know what a super soaker is, it's from the edgy part of the 90s, to where there were these massive water guns that you could pump up and then shoot it, and it would just be high pressure, and it'd be really fun. If you ever get a chance to grab one, get you a super soaker. They're really fun. And make it this time too where you can actually find out what happens to a lot of things. Like, I guess you could say, for instance, I give you some examples. Some of the things that bother me that I really would have liked to figure out is what the hell is with the Skittle dragons. And you probably, if you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, the whole portal that they disappear and appear from in the different parts of Breath of the Wild. Like, one of them, I forgot which one, just disappears into the sky. It's like a little portal that opens up and they just go away, and there's no explanation for it. I appreciate it being mystical and it being, that's fast, mystery creates curiosity, creates fascination. So I get it if you want to keep it a mystery, but man, I want to find this stuff out. Like, it actually drives me. I really want to find it out. Like, what's the deal with the Forgotten Temple? What's the actual deal with the Leviathan bones? Man, it's so much stuff in there. Like, what's the deal with the laboratory in Hyrule? What's that? The thing that's hanging on the wall, is that like a fifth what's it, not a guardian, but what do they call divine beast? Was that like a fifth divine beast? Was that a concept thing for one, like a prototype? Man, it's just, God, it's so much stuff. Like the weird part of the laboratory in Hyrule Castle, the weird ass island that's next to the Lost Woods, to where if you plop down on it, wind will start picking up, and I think at night I think 7 skeleton enemies come out and fight you. It's like, dude, that's too oddly specific to just be sitting there. But you can't, there's nothing really there. I think there's like a Korok seed there, but that's it. What is with that? That's so bizarre. It's just there. It makes no sense. And and of course the Zonai, you really want to figure out that stuff out too. But yeah, just adding all these things in, building on immersion, building on customization, building on story, building on the overall gameplay, making it to where you can repair your weapons too, of course. I don't know if I forgot this, and I've been talking for so long, but have a blacksmith or a special blacksmith to where you can take your weapons if they break, or if you want to craft new weapons, or if Link can craft it himself, maybe have like a crafting system to where Link can learn to be a master blacksmith. That would be awesome too. Or Link could learn to be a master medicine man, or a master warrior, or all that other stuff, or all of the above. Like, that would be, God, that would be insane. Or Zelda, make Zelda playable. Like I said, she can learn different things like that too. Of course, like I said, it would stick with the original. She could pick between magic, pick between science, or do either or. But she can also, you're not going to be just stuck to those things. She can learn other things in there. Like I said, she can learn a little bit on how to fight. She can learn a little bit on medicine. I guess medicine would go for either or, whether it be magic or for science, but make it to where they can customize. You can customize them, customize their weapons, their clothing, their accessories, their moves, their look, who they interact with. There's so much that you can do, and I really hope. I doubt it. I'm gonna be real. As much as I love Zelda, as much as I love Aonuma, I highly doubt that they will do stuff like this that really should be put in. Can you just visualize, if you've made it this far into this video, visualize how amazing everything that I mentioned. Sprawling land, even bigger than before. You can go over land, water, you can go over sea, you can go over air. There's much more diverse wildlife in there. There's like alligators and dolphins and other like lizards in the forest. There's tigers, like just other creatures just in general, just everywhere. There's snakes. There's so much stuff. There's all these different animals and enemies, like enemies from previous games and different dungeons, like redeads and in dark, cramped, wet dungeons, or the freakish looking things from the Breath of the Wild concept art. They're just roaming around in dark places, and they're even more prevalent at night, along with like the skeleton versions of stuff and all of that. You're just walking, and you just happen on this giant, thinly walking creature at night, and it freaks you out, and it moves so jittery that it's like, ooh, it freaks. Because Breath of the Wild 2 is already supposed to be darker than even Majora's Mask, so you can go nuts with that. Considering the fact that you had potentially aliens in Majora's Mask, then man, you can go nuts with that. It's so much you can do. But not only that, while you're walking continuously, then a freakish storm that actually had been building up out at sea comes across where you are, and then boom, next thing you know, there's a funnel forming above you, like literally like right above you. So you got to seek shelter while fighting these other creatures, and you have this NPC that's with you, male or female, and they're fighting off creatures over here. You're trying to rescue them from the storm, and it's so much just like, it's, God, that's, come on, man, that's fun, that's epic. I hate to sound cheesy, but that's epic. Like, it's just epic. And you're using like nunchucks to fight these enemies over here, while this person over here, like one of your NPCs, or even dare I say co-op is fighting another creature over here. It could be like what's a game that does that? Like, I kind of don't want couch co-op, because I feel like it's too, you'd have to do more of a top down, and I don't want that for the sequel. But at least you could do like online co-op, to where they're on theirs and you're on yours, and you know, you stay in the proximity of each other or something, to where y'all stay connected, or you have like a local server, or however the case is. I mean, Nintendo Online is ass, so I don't expect nothing of that, but I'm too ambitious with this title. But how awesome would that be? Like, yeah, tornadoes, like giant tigers and stuff. You're in like these mystic areas, you go underwater, you go deep inside caves, you got Gorons digging new places in mountains, to where you can go and traverse there, leading to all sorts of other interesting stuff, leading to underground waterways and banks and stuff, and hidden mines. And boy, it's so much that you could do. It is so much. And like I said, with the story, make it to where there's multiple endings. I mean, you kind of have that with Breath of the Wild, but you honestly kind of, it's very light. But you could have like legit multiple endings: a good ending, a bad ending, a so-so ending, happy ending, or romantic ending, depending on what you choose. Like, that would be awesome. Like, just every playthrough will not be the same. It's kind of like that now with Breath of the Wild, but we can crank that up by a factor of 20. No, by a factor of 50. We could crank that up, but it remains to be seen. Will Aonuma, will Nintendo, will the Breath of the Wild team do that? Will they not? Probably not, but it's fun to dream, right? So that is that. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. Patreon, because I am poor. Threadiverse, because, hey, you know, you might want to get yourself something nice, and it's never not a bad idea to treat yourself to something nice. On the Patreon, tier start as low as like $1 a month. That will greatly help out the channel immensely. But you know, if you can, great. If not, it's complete. It is what it is. You take care of yourself first. And with that said, Let me know what you think down below. If you have any ideas that I may have left out, feel free to drop them, and I'll be reading them and talk to you in the comments section, because I'm pretty sure there's one bombastic idea that I probably have left out. And with that said, I am out of here. And speaking for 42 minutes, my throat is gone.